Ted Bundy was a notorious American serial killer and rapist who was active in the 1970s. Born in Burlington, Vermont in 1946, Bundy had a troubled childhood and was often described as a charming and intelligent individual. He attended college in Washington, where he began to commit his first murders. Bundy's killing spree began in 1974, when he abducted and murdered young women in several states. He was known for his brutal and sadistic methods, which often involved rape, torture, and necrophilia. Bundy was also known for his ability to charm and manipulate his victims, often luring them to their deaths with his friendly demeanor. Despite his many crimes, Bundy was able to avoid arrest for several years, thanks in part to his good looks and charismatic personality. However, in 1975, he was arrested for the first time when he was caught driving a stolen car. Although he was initially released on bail, he was later arrested again and charged with the murder of 2 women. Over the next several years, Bundy was linked to a series of murders and kidnappings in several states, including Washington, Utah, Colorado, and Florida. Despite several close calls with law enforcement, he was able to escape from custody twice, once in 1977 and again in 1978. In 1979, Bundy was finally captured in Florida and put on trial for the murder of 2 college students. Although he initially represented himself in court, he later hired a team of lawyers to defend him. Despite the overwhelming evidence against him, including eyewitness testimony and forensic evidence, Bundy maintained his innocence throughout the trial. Bundy was ultimately found guilty and sentenced to death. He spent the next several years on death row, where he continued to maintain his innocence and appeal his conviction. However, he was eventually executed by electrocution in 1989. Bundy's story has been the subject of numerous books, films, and documentaries, and continues to fascinate and horrify people to this day. His crimes are a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked human behavior and the importance of justice and accountability. Ted Bundy's story is often cited as one of the most terrifying and fascinating cases in criminal history. His charming demeanor and good looks, coupled with his brutal and sadistic crimes, have captivated the public's attention for decades. One of the most disturbing aspects of Bundy's story is his ability to blend in with society. He was a college graduate, a law student, and a political campaign worker. He volunteered at crisis hotlines and was well liked by his co-workers and acquaintances. But behind this facade was a monster who preyed on young women. Bundy's modus operandi was to lure his victims into his car under the pretense of needing help or offering a ride. He would then attack and rape them, often torturing them for hours before killing them. Some of his victims were decapitated or dismembered, and he would often keep their bodies for days before disposing of them. Bundy's trial was one of the most high-profile in American history, with crowds of people gathering outside the courthouse to catch a glimpse of the killer. His defense team tried to portray him as a victim of childhood trauma and mental illness, but the jury was not swayed. Bundy was found guilty and sentenced to death. Despite his crimes, Bundy's story has also been used as a cautionary tale about the dangers of ignoring warning signs. Many people who knew Bundy or encountered him before his crimes remarked on his odd behavior or disturbing comments, but they were often dismissed or ignored. Bundy's case has prompted greater awareness of the importance of reporting suspicious behavior and taking threats seriously. In the years since Bundy's execution, his story has been the subject of numerous books, documentaries, and films, including the popular Netflix series Conversations with a Killer, the Ted Bundy tapes, and the feature film Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile, starring Zac Efron. Despite his heinous crimes, Bundy's legacy endures, a stark reminder of the darkest depths of human behavior. In the aftermath of Bundy's trial and execution, many questions remain about his motivations and psyche. Some experts have suggested that he suffered from a personality disorder or psychopathy, while others have speculated about the role that pornography and violent media may have played in his crimes. Bundy's case has also prompted discussion about the death penalty and the ethics of capital punishment. Some argue that Bundy's execution was necessary to bring closure to the families of his victims and to ensure that he could never harm anyone again. Others argue that the death penalty is cruel and inhumane, and that life imprisonment may be a more appropriate punishment. Despite the passage of time, Bundy's story continues to fascinate and horrify people around the world. His crimes remain a cautionary tale about the dangers of overlooking warning signs and the importance of taking violent behavior seriously. The legacy of Ted Bundy is a reminder that even the most seemingly normal and charming individuals may harbor dark and dangerous impulses, and that it is up to all of us to be vigilant and proactive in protecting ourselves and our communities.